All right, everybody, that music gets you in the mood? Yeah, try to make this white boy dance. I got a text message from Lana saying she was grooving right now, so that's a good thing. First of all, mic check, mic check. Can you hear me? Somebody put in the chat that you can hear me because I'm talking. I'll wait until I see in the chat that somebody says you can hear me. All right, you hear me. That's good. Great. Thanks. Hey, we're so glad you're here. This is Thursday, February the 18th. This is the national Zoom call for the Flipping America RIA for Thursday, February the 18th. And I'm excited to be here with you this evening. And I have something a little special for you tonight. I am the speaker. I've got a presentation for you, but I pre-recorded it. It's the first time I've tried this with this technology, so let's see how that works. But first of all, let's switch over here and make the announcements and do the pledge. All right, let me hit the right button over here. There we go. They're real close together. It's kind of hard to see. Okay, so tonight the conversation is about find your fit, and I want you to make sure that you say hello to everybody in the chat and tell us where you're from, tell us what you're up to, what you're looking for. If you've got a deal to sell, we want to buy it, and if you're looking for something to buy, then we've got something to sell. Let's do some deals with each other. Let's partner up. Let's figure out a way. Even if you're across the country, we've got new chapters opening up now in Indianapolis and Lexington and Tulsa, Oklahoma, and all across the country. Wherever you're from, I would love to hear what you've got going on. And I appreciate the fact that you've taken time to be here with us tonight. And we want to honor that by bringing you some useful information. And this is the topic tonight, find your fit. I know I'm the Flipping America guy, but I don't believe that flipping houses is the right thing for everyone. And I'm going to say more about that when we start the video up for you in just a few minutes. But that's the topic tonight. Next, let me hit the, okay, there we go. Next Wednesday, we're bringing to you someone who's never been on the Flipping America show or in one of our RIA meetings before, but this is a business called Hive, and Joel Jensen is going to be joining us, and I'm really excited to introduce these guys to you. This is a business that's owned by Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank, and they are working together to put together this, they have this business called Hive, which helps small businesses do their taxes. And also there's some legacy planning and some LLC formation, entity formation, and that kind of advisement that they do. I am really interested in their $10,000 guarantee. And I'm not going to say anything more about that. You can go to their website and find out more. But Joel Jensen is going to be here next Wednesday, 12:30 Eastern Time. And that's 11:30 Central Time, Wednesday afternoon. Next Thursday night, I've got Bill Jennings coming back. We had him on a few weeks ago and just gave an introduction. People want more? Great. I'm bringing you more. I'm going to have Bill. I've asked him to come back and do his full presentation on how to get unsecured business lines of credit. And that's next Thursday night at this time, 7:30 Eastern Time, 6:30 Central Time. Here's the pledge. You ready? Put your hand on your heart. Repeat after me. Here we go. No, don't repeat after me. Say it with me. When I look in the mirror, I see the reason, the credit for my successes, the blame for my failures. I cannot make it without my team, and I tell them often. But when they succeed, it's because I chose well and I led well. When they fail, it's because I did not choose or lead well. I am the reason. I may have setbacks, but I cannot fail if I don't ever give up. You got circumstances, I got circumstances, we all got circumstances, but you won't find me under mine. My situation will not dictate my emotion, my circumstances will not control my results, external forces will not take away my power to choose. I cannot change the world, but I can change me and the way I relate to it, so I charge on. I am the reason. I have a massive vision, which creates massive pressure, leading to massive action, which is the only chance I have to achieve massive results. The world doesn't owe me success. God doesn't owe me success. No one but me is going to work for my success. Therefore, no one is going to work harder for their success than I will for mine. I will give my all and then a bit more, so tomorrow my all will be more. That's the Flipping America Pledge. Somebody asked me where I got that. Well, right here. I wrote it for myself, and a few years ago I started, I didn't write it all in one day, but it's an accumulation of things and thoughts, and they really thoughts that motivate me. And I got them down into this format right here. And then I started sharing them at my live events. And we decided recently, and we call it the pledge at the live events. But since we can't do live events right now, we thought we'd just bring it into what we're doing here with Flipping America RIA. So start every club meeting with the pledge, right? Okay. This is about the show, the Flipping America Show. You already know it's a free app in the App Store, and it's also on every major podcast platform. However you listen, just please listen to the show. 3 shows a week, that's 3 hours a week of real estate education. Never charge for any of it, just like we didn't charge you to be here tonight. I hope that you're mindful of that when you attend some of the other RIA meetings around in your community or around the nation. And now it's time to get going with Find Your Fit. All right, are you feeling ready? Let me see you guys putting in the chat now. I don't know. Are you talking? Are you sharing with each other? All right, Isaac's talking in the chat. All right, talk to each other. Y'all ready? Here we go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play this video for you, and this will allow me to monitor the comments and the questions. If you have questions as we go along through the video, put them in the Q&A tab, and I'll deal with all of your questions. I'll stay here as long as we need to answer your questions when we're done. This video is 23 minutes, so listen fast. Here it comes. There we go. If you listen to the Flipping America podcast, you'll hear me say quite often, I don't believe that you should drop what you're doing and start flipping houses like you see on TV. In fact, flipping houses isn't for everyone. But I do believe that everyone should have real estate as a part of a balanced investment portfolio. And to that end, the point of our show is to bring you the best news and information, statistics, trends, demographics, interesting people, inspirational stories, and whatever we can to help you make the best decision about your relationship with investment real estate. This course is designed to introduce you to the possibilities and to help you kind of figure out where you fit in the world of real estate investing. I honestly believe that flipping houses isn't for everyone. In fact, it's not for most people. I think there are other things that you can do. We've documented 86 different careers you can have in real estate and real estate investing, and each of those has a number of subcategories, and when you put it all together, there might be 1,000 ways to make $1 million in real estate. One of them is probably the right choice, or at least the best choice for you. So the purpose of this course is to help you take some steps toward figuring that out. So let's get going and begin by thinking about find your fit in real estate investing. Now I'm going to move over here a little bit so we can open up the screen. And I've got a little presentation to go along with this first lesson in Find Your Fit in Real Estate Investing. What we want to do is, I guess, think about, first of all, why even think about real estate versus stocks or bonds or commodities or the other things that you can do. Bitcoin is a big thing right now. Why real estate? Here are the reasons why I've invested in real estate and I continue to invest in real estate. Number one, you can make income. Active and passive income. And we're going to talk about both. Financial freedom. This is, I think, one of the best ways and most reliable ways to achieve true financial freedom. You also have the opportunity to build wealth. I've heard different numbers on the stats. Some say 90%, some say 95%. I think it's probably more like 80% of the wealthiest individuals in the world have built their fortune with real estate. A growing number of people are building it through technology and internet-related businesses. But still, the vast majority of people who grow exceedingly wealthy do so with real estate, and it's still a viable and reliable way to build wealth and financial freedom. Here's some other reasons why I like real estate. First of all, unlike the stock market, you can buy real estate at a discount. In fact, everything that we do revolves around buying it at a discount. Next, you can use other people's money or leverage. You can borrow money to buy this. You really can't or shouldn't borrow money to invest in the stock market. You can control the value add, and the level of control that comes along with real estate gives people a lot of sense of security. You control the value add. That is, if you want to remodel this room and not that room, if you want to add granite countertops, or if you want to do this or that, you have a choice about what you're doing to add value to the property. And you really can't add value to the stocks that you buy. You can't really add another bathroom to your stock portfolio and make it worth more money. You also control the disposition. What's going on with the real estate in terms of renting or selling it? You're in charge of making those decisions, and you can make decisions not in the interest of all of your stockholders, but you can make decisions that are in your own best interest. Then you have an appreciating asset. Real estate, with a few minor exceptions, which are really just blips on the radar screen of history, real estate is a consistently appreciating asset. Now, we don't buy real estate and wait for appreciation to make us our profits. That's not what we do, but it is going to continue to appreciate most of the time while we hold it. And then lastly, there are significant tax advantages. I think that a lot of people that wrote the tax code originally must have been real estate landholders, because they built in a lot of tax advantages for real estate investors. And it is our duty to take advantage of as many of them as we can. And so there are some reasons why I invest in real estate. But if you want to be good at investing in real estate, you're going to have to be good at several things. You're going to have to be good at marketing. You're going to have to learn how to market yourself and market your opportunity and market your properties. There is a lot of marketing that goes on. Negotiation skills. You're going to be negotiating with sellers. You're going to be negotiating with buyers. You're going to be negotiating in between with everyone that's going to be working on your team, your contractors, your realtors, and to some extent, even the people that are conducting your closings. There's always negotiation going on. And if you're not good at it already, you better get good at it. Estimation of repairs. This is something that you're only going to learn once you dive in and just start doing it. But it is something that you need to be good at to be effective in this business. A knowledge of the real estate market. What's going on with prices? What's happening with the trends? Where are the price points selling best, and how many days on market? And those kinds of things that you'll be tracking as you learn this game. You're going to have to know those things. But fortunately, these are things that can be learned. And the process of deal structuring. It's not always just pay cash for a property, fix it up, and then rent it or sell it, or maybe borrow money. It can get a lot more complicated than that, and there can be a dozen moving pieces to a deal structure, and you're going to need to know those for maximum effectiveness. There are 3 ways that I've identified to make money. Now, earlier I said there are 86 different career paths, but they all can be summarized in one of these 3 ways of making money in real estate. You can buy with the intent to ultimately sell. You're going to add value to it somehow by remodeling or getting the occupancy up, or whatever it is that you're going to do, and then you're going to sell for a profit and create income. That's the flip model. You can buy with the intent just to hold on to it and lease it out, and that's the hold model. Or you can invest in somebody doing the first or the second of these options, and that's passive. And really, those are the 3 ways that you make money in real estate, either actively with flips, or passively with holds, or long-term with holds, or passively by investing in people who are doing flips or holds. Then I want you to see this also, because you can be completely passive and make money in real estate, but the more passive you are, the less you're going to make. So here on the left-hand side of this, you can see I've got a blue arrow that goes up that says profit, and the red arrow that's going out to the right that says involvement. And the fact is, in general terms, the more active you are in the real estate project, the more money you're going to make. You can be completely passive, but you'll make less money. You can be completely active and you'll make more money, but you're trading your time for that additional money. Fortunately, you have options. You get to decide which way it goes. Now, here are some barriers to entry for people who are thinking about getting into real estate investing. And these are some things that, well, maybe you've thought of some of these. Maybe you've even felt like some of these are barriers to you. We're going to do our best to help you overcome those. But the cash requirements. Real estate takes a lot of cash. And that is true, and there's no avoiding it. The good news is it doesn't have to be your cash. It takes skill and or experience. That is also true. To do well in real estate, you need skill or experience, but there is a way to get skill and experience by teaming up with people who have it already and bringing something of value to the table, that's something that they will want. It takes some training, and of course that's what these courses are all about in the Flipping America Academy. And it takes knowing where to begin. It just seems like there's a whole world of real estate out there, and there's complexity and all of this, just knowing where to begin. Well, in the remaining few minutes of this video, I want to talk to you about where to begin. And here's where you should begin. Take inventory. I'm not talking about going and counting the cans of beans in your pantry. I'm talking about taking inventory of your life. Let's think for a moment about where you are with your life. And here are the things I want you to think about. How much time do you have? Is this something that you can commit 5 hours a week, 10 hours a week, 30 hours a week? Are you out of work right now and need to create a new career immediately? Think about how much time you can realistically put into this. And if you have young children at home, you might not want to take on something that's very time consuming because you only get that childhood once. Speaking as a father whose children are all grown, I have never one time gone back and wished I had spent more time on my things and even less time with the kids. It doesn't work out that way. So spend the time with the kids now. Money. How much money? I'm not asking you to tell me, but how much money do you have to put into this? Realistically, not taking out of your reserves or your rainy day fund or anything like that. How much money can you risk to put into real estate, both your training and the actual investing in property? How much training have you had? You're going to need some at some point. What are your rehab skills? How handy are you? Do you know how to fix things? Do you know how to paint? I'm not suggesting that you're going to go out there and do these things, but having some knowledge of them is going to help you negotiate better deals with your contractors. So what's your rehab skill or your rehab knowledge? Construction management. Have you ever worked in construction? Have you ever built houses? Have you ever built your own house? Have you ever remodeled a house? What have you done that gives you some sort of relevant experience? Maybe you're a handyman or a contractor now, and so you can check off this box. But maybe you haven't even bought your first house yet, and so you haven't had an opportunity to do any of this. Be realistic about that. What is your level of business ownership or experience? And this part trips people up sometimes. I see people who go to these hotel room guru seminars and borrow from their retirement because they just know that they're going to be wealthy in real estate. But they've never owned a business. They've never really been anything but a W-2 employee. And I don't mean to throw shade on being a W-2 employee. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you've never owned a business, then you've got to do some adjusting mentally to get into a business ownership and entrepreneurial mindset, or you're just not going to do well with this. So, what's your experience with that? This is a question I always ask on our strategy calls. Have you ever owned a business? Have you ever hired people or fired people within the business where you're working? Because it's important to have some of that kind of leadership experience. What are your skills regarding marketing? Because especially at the beginning, you're going to do your own marketing. And you're going to be not just marketing your properties. That's the easy part in a hot market. You're going to be trying to find deals to buy. So you have to do what we call deal marketing or lead generation. And there's marketing involved in that. And you're going to have to acquire some skills, and you're going to have to be willing to talk to people. How about your use of the technology? Technology makes things a lot easier. It is possible to do real estate investing with a pencil and paper and nothing else. But it's going to be a lot more time consuming, and you will be a lot less effective if you don't know how to use and tap into today's technology. And it's not really knowing what's there today as I make this video right now, because something else is coming tomorrow. It is also your willingness, your adaptability, your flexibility, and your willingness to get out there and learn new technology platforms when they emerge, because they're coming out all the time. What are your people skills? I've talked to people who want to be real estate investors who have zero people skills. That's not going to work. You have to deal with people in this business. If you just really don't want to deal with people at all, then hopefully you've got a lot of money and you can have a few people and just invest passively in what they're doing. Otherwise, this thing's not going to work out very well for you. Your task orientation. Even if you're a real people person, you've got to be able to pay attention to some tasks, because there are a number of tasks that have to get done in order for any real estate transaction to go forward. You're just going to have to stay on top of it. Eventually, you can bring in staff to your weak points, but at the beginning, you're going to do it all. Your risk tolerance. This is going to affect whether or not you invest in real estate at all, but also what types of things you will invest in. If you have a low risk tolerance, there are certain things that you won't do. If you have a high risk tolerance, there's a high possibility of reward and a better than decent possibility that it may bust on you. And so you have to be prepared for that. I think that your age plays a consideration into your risk tolerance, but also your natural personality and makeup has an effect as well. So with this lesson, there is an opportunity to download this inventory sheet that takes all of these characteristics and puts them on one page. And I ask you to evaluate yourself in terms of low, medium, and high. Now, with time and money, you can actually put in the actual hours and the actual dollars that you have, and you can put them in there. But let's think about the dollars for a minute. If you have less than $15,000, then you're on the low side. If you have $15,000 to $35,000 or $40,000, you're medium. That's enough to maybe do one flip deal. That's even if you borrow the money. And if you have $100,000 or more, you're going to be on the high side, because you have a lot of possibilities if you have that much money you can put together. The rest of it is pretty much a check mark, low, medium, or high. Just put a check mark where you fit. Now, I want you to download this form and fill it out before you go any further with the video. I'm going to pause right now and give you a moment to download this form. And really, the video is only going to pause for a second, but I want you to hit pause and then come back when you've got this form filled out. All right. You should have downloaded the form and filled it out before we go any further. Have you done it? Really? Have you done it? I'm smiling at you because I know what I'm like when I watch these videos. Yeah, I'll do it later. No, I want you to do it now. I really want you to do this. It won't take you long. And this is part of the whole thing. If you want to find your fit in real estate investing, you need to know where you stand on all these things. Now, here's what I've got coming up. We're going to review the options and what they require in terms of this inventory. And you're going to see the brilliance of this whole idea here in just a moment. The options, we're not going to cover all 86 career paths. We're just going to take some of the main things that people do as real estate investors, okay? Wholesaling is one. Fix and flip investing is another. Buy and hold investing is another. Short-term rentals, money lender, and passive investor. We're going to consider what your profile, your little chart, should look like to be each one of these. Let's just dive in, okay? Here's wholesaling. A wholesaler typically has a large amount of time, a low amount of money. People with low amount of money probably need to look at becoming a wholesaler to begin with. You need to start building your stash of cash to help you get out there and do some of the other things. A moderate amount of training. You don't have to have any rehab skills or construction management or business ownership to be a wholesaler. You do have to be pretty good at marketing, because it's all about marketing. You're going to be marketing for deals. You're also going to be marketing for buyers of your deals. And then you need a decent grasp of the technology, because it's almost impossible to be a wholesaler without some understanding of the technology involved. You got to be a good people person, and you need to pay attention to details. You have some tasks to see through, maybe not as many as a fix and flip investor, but you've got some things you have to do. And if your risk tolerance is low, this is also ideal because you do have some risk, but what you risk at the very worst is earnest money on a property that you were not able to get an assignment fee for, and you had to let it go and you lose your earnest money. That happens to all wholesalers from time to time. It's happened to me. Okay. All right. Now, next, fix and flip investing. A fix and flip investor has a high amount of time, a pretty high amount of money. It could be medium to high money, probably some training. Maybe you've teamed up with some other investors at one point or another. Rehab skills, got to be there. Construction management, the higher, the more, the better. Business ownership. You're definitely running a business at this point, so you have to know some things about owning and running a business. Marketing, you don't really have to be that great at marketing because if you reach out to a few wholesalers, they'll bring the deals to you. And if you have a good agent, they'll do the selling for you. So you really don't have to be, I mean, it helps if you are, but if you're not, it's fine. Technology, you don't have to have a huge grasp of technology. If you can use a spreadsheet or some of the other tools of technology, that will help, but it's not an absolute requirement. People skills, you need to have some, but you don't have to be great with people. Task, you do have to pay attention to the tasks because there are a lot of them, and the more you know about project management, the better off you're going to be. And risk tolerance, there's some pretty high risks involved in fix and flip. Now, part of my training is to help take the risk out of it. I've even written an article for Forbes magazine about taking the risk out of real estate investing and fixing and flipping, and I'm going to share all that information with you, of course, at a later time. Not in this little course, but later on in one of the other courses in the academy. Okay, now what about next, buy and hold? To be a buy and hold investor, you only need a medium amount of time. You may not even need that much. You need a medium amount of money because you are going to have to make down payments on these properties even if you're getting loans. You don't have to have much training. You don't really have to have a lot of rehab skills or any of those other skills. Mainly, you just need to be able to connect with a realtor who's going to help you find the deals or some wholesalers if you want to buy rentals that you first fix up. And then your task and your risk tolerance can be anywhere on the chart, and you can still be an effective wholesaler. Airbnb, you have to have a lot of time to be an effective Airbnb investor, unless you're planning to hire an Airbnb superhost to manage your properties for you. Then money and training, medium amounts. Rehab skills, you're not going to rehab an Airbnb. Construction management, no. Business ownership, yep, a little bit. And marketing and technology, yes. People skills need to be pretty good to run Airbnb because you're going to have a lot of people that are going to be your customers for one night or three. And you need to be able to establish rapport quickly, show them friendliness. Hopefully they'll want to come back and all that sort of thing. Really, an Airbnb strategy is more hospitality industry than real estate investing. But since you own the property, we still do consider it as part of real estate investing. Or at least you control the property. Money lender. You can see that you can be low with your training, rehab skills, construction management, biz ownership, marketing, technology. You don't have to have a lot of that. The more you have, the better off you'll be, the safer your loans will be. But you do have to have some money. That would be a key requirement for a money lender. And you're going to be more effective as a money lender if you're a good marketer. And you don't have to have a lot of risk tolerance because if you're a good lender, you can take most, if not all, of the risk out of this thing. All right, passive investor. You can be low on all of those, but you've got to have some money. And notice that you can be a passive investor with just a little bit of money or a medium amount of money or a high amount of money. You have options available to you for passive real estate investing with as little as $500 or $1,000. And I'm happy to share those with you as we go along. So those are some profiles. Now what I want you to do is I want you to maybe pause or rewind this video, go back and compare those profiles with your own profile. Maybe you were already doing it. That's kind of why I wanted you to finish the profile before we looked at this section. What do you match up with best? Whatever you choose, the path forward for you is to get more information, find a mentor, someone to teach you. I might suggest, yours truly. Follow a proven path and get cracking. Don't sit and think. Don't wish and hope. Get moving, because the future is yours to hold if you will take hold. All right. So that was the video. Now, during the video, I sent that inventory sheet. I downloaded the registration list from tonight, and I sent you the inventory. And what happened to my camera? Okay. I don't think I'm on the right camera. I don't really care. Oh. Let's go to this. There we go. How about that camera? All right. Anyway, I sent you the inventory list. It's in your email now, and you should be able to access it. And I don't have any questions yet in the Q&A. Of course, that's not really the kind of thing that leads to a lot of questions. I know it's not overly technical, but we're going to be around here for just a few minutes longer. And I want you to now give your thoughts and your attention to Chip Cagle with Bay Mountain Capital, because if you want to do a real estate deal, this is the best deal going for your money. Listen to this. Chip, hello. How's it going, man? Thanks. Yeah. I think it may be a transmission issue, because it was clear here, and I'm not saying it's your internet. It's probably just the fact that we're sending it out. But when you get the video lesson through Thinkific, it should be clear. I will look at it once I get it uploaded there. Yeah, yeah. Blame it on Zoom. Yeah. All right, everybody. Well, I sure am glad that you took time to be here tonight. This is a relatively short meeting. We don't have any questions in the Q&A tab, and I did note the comments, and we will work on the fuzziness of the video, but I'm going to hopefully operate on the assumption that it's a function of the Zoom. Also, when that money was falling, there was supposed to be music playing. I don't know what happened there, but we'll fix that. Anyway, glad you were here. Glad we could help. And we are going to give you a link in the, now I sent you an email already just a few minutes ago with the PDF with the asset inventory. You can already be working on that and thinking about that. And I've got to get this course fully loaded up in Thinkific tomorrow. It'll probably take me all morning to do it. It always takes longer than you think. And thank you. I appreciate all the sevens in there. Thank you all. But we're going to give you this course. It's 5 video lessons. That is the longest one, the one you just watched. The rest of them are all pretty short. However, with lesson 2, there is an activity that's going to take a few minutes. And the others are short videos, longer activities. What I'm really asking you to do over the next week or so is to really put some thought into what you want your life to be. And once you figure out what you want your life to be, we can help craft a strategy for real estate investing around that. Doesn't that make sense? I know when you watch TV, you get all excited about flipping houses and you think, I can do that. Those guys are morons. I can do that. But it's not the thing for everyone. And I think it's not the thing for most people. So let's figure out something that's a perfect fit for you. I've been thinking about this for a couple of years. I've been noodling on this and putting together the pieces of this, but this course is brand new. I've been working on it for a few weeks, but we shot the video this week and got it all edited, and I'm going to give it to you, and I would really appreciate your feedback on the course when you get it, okay? All right, so thanks everybody, and look, we got something else new for you tonight. We've got a way to sign off on this. If it works, here we go.